You are listening to the Martial Arts Lifestyle Podcast, where each week we have a conversation with everyday martial arts practitioners. From the first motivation to train, martial arts enriches our lives and becomes a lifestyle. Welcome to the individual stories of those martial artists living that lifestyle. You are listening to the abbreviated version. For those of you checking this out on YouTube, please hit the like and subscribe buttons. Full-length versions of this podcast can be subscribed to at our Patreon page, is www.patreon.com/malmag. Or individual full-length episodes can be purchased at our Gumroad page at malmag.gumroad.com. Before we begin this week's program, I would like to remind you to check out martialartslifestylemagazine.com to see articles on the martial arts. Click on the Store tab to find products for the practice of Southeast Asian martial arts, featuring Timmy B's brand sticks. Check out the Courses tab, currently featuring a course on the Dos Manos method of the Filipino martial arts. Also check out our Places to Train page, featuring top quality martial art academies from around the world. And of course, check out our events page for seminars and events coming up around the world. To see your school listed in our Places to Train page or your event on our events calendar, contact us at malmagonline@gmail.com. And this is episode number 125. This week, I connect with Hawaii on Zoom, and I talk with martial arts legend Burton Richardson, and we talk about how he got involved in martial arts. We talk about Zulu stick fighting, dedication to doing reps to get good at the martial arts, learning to recognize opportunities when they come knocking, having an open mind in the martial arts, striking that balance between the art and the martial, and much more. Sit back and enjoy. Welcome to the Martial Arts Lifestyle Podcast, and this is one of our special numbers, episode 125, and I want to kind of thank everybody for sticking with the show because, you know, somebody was telling me the other day that podcasts, they said the average one makes it 4 episodes or something, so here we are at 125, so I'm thinking that's pretty good. A lot of that is just because I'm a big dumb animal, and I'll just keep putting them out. I'm just that kind of guy, you know, like I get on a mission and I'm going, so I try to get, you know, some special guests, not saying that everyone who's on the show is not special because they are. It's a, you know, individual story podcast, but I always try to get someone with a bit of a name to them for the different episodes. And today I'm talking with someone that I was very happy to meet. I don't know how many years ago, but somebody I knew of from my start in JKD and Kali and from before, because he's covered in magazines and has had different series of videos out. So someone who was a teacher before he realized he was my teacher, Mr. Burton Richardson. Thank you for being on my show.
Oh man, it's such a pleasure. And
or I should say your show.
No, your show. It's your show. No, yeah, we go way back, and gosh, you people may not know that you are really an integral part of the Inosanto Academy, and you do so much to support the Academy behind the scenes, helping Guru Dan just so much. So I really, really want to thank you for all you do for Guru Dan and for the Academy, all the students. So thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I think I was just lucky. It was like one of those opportunity meets luck meets which whatever, you know, crossroads where it's availability. That's the other word. So I was available. I you know, trusted, I guess, through my own work in that department and just kind of being there to help do whatever, no questions asked. You know, it didn't matter. Clean a toilet? Yeah, sure, no problem. I can do that. What have you. So, you know, time. And I think the other thing was Larry had vetted me, so that worked.
Yes.
Cecil Hartzell had vetted me.
That's a good vetting process. If you get through that, you're looking pretty good.
Exactly. They're like, well, he put up with this guy for, you know, a few years. He must be okay.
No, but yeah, really, seriously, folks out there, Mr. Tim Becherer really, I mean, really does so much, and it's highly, highly appreciated because you've affected everybody associated with the Inosanto Academy.
Appreciate that. Yeah, you know, if you probably see me, if you've been here, I'm the guy behind the camera usually saying, "Get out of the way."
Right.
Camera, get out of the way.
Hey, you know, I want to just, since you brought up that word available or availability, you made yourself available. Can I just mention that I think that is a key to success,
Yeah.
because that is a choice. And maybe you might have some free time in the day or something, but to actually make yourself available is a whole nother step. And then to
Right.
follow through on it, another
Yeah.
step
Yeah.
yet.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so anybody out there, gosh, when those opportunities come up, I would just, at least in my experience, I would really suggest you take them, because when I was in South Africa, I did not have to travel down to Durban and then drive 2 hours out into the countryside to meet up with Zulu warriors. I didn't
Yeah.
need to
Yeah.
just, but I took the steps. I didn't have to be in every single one of Grudan's classes when, back in the late 80s, he was teaching 18 classes a week, and I was at
Wow.
every single class. So I made myself available, and I loved it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
But that, what a difference it made in the long term. And I was just doing what I needed, what I felt was the best way to go about it. But yeah, if there's something you want to do, like say there's a camp at Inosanto Academy you want to go to, or there's some seminar that's a 6 hour drive or 8 hour drive, man, I would just highly suggest you just do it.
Yeah.
Um, because we can't get those times back.
No, it's
And
true. Right.
right, I
Yeah.
mean, think of all the things you've done yourself that you could have easily said, nah, I'm not going to go out to that seminar. I'm going to just stay home and do something else. But
Oh, sure.
yeah, it's a
Yeah. I mean,
huge.
I think there's a sense of adventure. I mean, I'd have to say that with you in South Africa. I mean, with the average person, you say, hey, let's go take this long drive. First of all, let's go to South Africa. That's the other side of the planet. I mean, both east and west and north and south. I mean, realistically,
Yes.
you're literally going to the opposite corner of the planet. And then, okay, let's make a longer drive out. And then, to meet Zulu warriors, that would probably scare the living daylights out of anyone to even think of doing. And then you're like, yeah, let's go to, because I'm the
Let's
same way. They're like,
go.
I'm like, are you kidding me? Heck yeah. Okay, what is it I don't need to do to not get killed immediately? That's the first thing I need to know. But other than that, I'm cool. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a part you can look at and say, was that really good thinking? Was that a rational? But for whatever reason, I just felt I was so compelled to go out and train and actually have that opportunity to go train with these guys. And I didn't know what was going to happen. Same thing when I trained with different grandmasters in the Philippines. I remember the first grandmaster I trained with in the Philippines, Grandmaster Roberto Labaniego, who's unfortunately he's passed away now. And we're in this little shanty town where he lives, and in this tiny little place. And it comes time, he gives me a stick, he has a stick, and he says, he points toward his temple, meaning hit me here, angle one. And all these things flash through my mind of Grudan talking about, I think, 8 of his instructors. The first lesson was they would just smash him on
Smack
the
him in the
hand.
head.
Right. So I'm like, oh, here it comes. And
Yeah.
I just forced my hand to go out. It turned out he didn't, thankfully. But but yeah, there's sometimes you just have to have some faith, and I guess realize that in the end, if you don't die, that and on that first trip, there was a point where I thought there was a chance I was going to be taken out. Let's just say, put it
Wow.
that way.
For South Africa or for
In
Philippines?
South Africa.
Okay.
Yeah. There was a situation happened on that first trip that was like, oh, is this where I'm going to die? How interesting. That makes a good story, I guess. But
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
yeah, and yeah, you have to have some faith and then hope you just can negotiate or get your way out of bad things, or try to avoid, always go in with a good attitude, and that helps a lot. So, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I've traveled a lot, even for education, for work, whatever, and it's just, yeah, same thing. I've marched into stuff where I think as long as you have a good attitude about an open mind, people are going to go, okay, we're not going to kill you. We'll give you a welcome. We'll give you an education. We'll give you, an adventure, whatever it is.
Yes, that's been my experience as well. Same training in Hawaii when I would come over here to train before living here, and just all over, training Japan, training Brazil. There was an interesting one there too, where somebody decided to uh, basically break my arm, or
Oof.
hyperextend my elbow when I
Yeah.
was a new blue belt, and they asked me to roll, and the guy got to an arm bar, and so I tapped and I tapped, and I kept tapping and I kept tapping, and he just kept going till he cracked my arm, and
Oh.
then yeah, but that was just the environment we were in. And so luckily I found some other people that were, or I was with Egan Inoue and Ensign Inoue for
Hmm.
that first trip, and we found some good people to train with, and yeah, so but yeah, as long as you make it through alive, right?
Yeah, it's true. Well, and here we are, 2025, April, sitting here talking. So we're alive today.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that's right. With
April
some good stories to tell.
2025.
Man,
Man, time is flying. When
for
did you
sure.
start training? What year did you start actually
Um,
training in them?
19, let's see, I got to think. Okay, sixth grade was 80, 81. Seventh grade, it was in the summer of my seventh grade year. So 81, 82, summer of 1982
Wow, see?
is when I started. Yeah,
It's hard
yeah.
to imagine, right?
And I don't even want
Over
to do the math on it because people, how long have you been doing this? And I'm like, usually it's a little dragon ask, but I said, since your age, if they're older.
That's funny.
I'm not going to tell you a
Yeah.
number.
Yeah,
That
I
sounds
started
terrible.
I had my first class at the Kali Academy in Torrance when in 1980.
Wow. So was that your first martial art that you ever did? Was
First
stake?
martial art I ever did.
You were
Yes,
like a baseball player or something before, if
I
I remember
sure
right, right?
was.
Okay.
I was
See,
a
I got my history good. Okay.
You got it down. That's
All
all you
right.
need to know. I was a baseball player. Yes. Interesting that the work ethic that I used in baseball to become quite proficient transferred over to the martial arts. I'll tell you a little story. So what I would do with baseball is every day during the summer, and when it was season time, I didn't do it so much because we had practices, but I still did it. But in the summers and off times, I would take a ball, a bat, or some taped up baseballs, batting tee, baseball bat, go to the field and hit balls into the fence. And I would hit at least an hour. I would just hit over and over
Wow.
and
And
over and
this was
over
a
again.
collegiate level when
This
you
was
were
high
collegiate level,
school,
high school.
and
Okay, but still,
then
it's not like little kid where you t-ball. So I wouldn't even have thought at that level of grabbing a tee to hit a ball.
yeah. So
That's
you
pretty
just
cool.
get
Yeah.
lots and lots and lots of strokes, and of course, I also went to the batting cages and such. But it translated into highest batting average in the entire league, high school league, and all. So
Wow.
then I took that. I remember one day when I just started, it was in the summer of 1980. And on Saturdays, you could go in and train, and Sifu Richard Bustillo was usually there. Guru Dan was usually out teaching a seminar. Sometimes he would be there. But you just go in and kind of do whatever you wanted to do and maybe ask a question here or there. And so I just went to the heavy bag. I was going to work on my roundhouse kick because I had a terrible, terrible roundhouse kick. I just had no aptitude for it. And so I just went there and I just started kicking the heavy bag, and I did the same kick for an hour, just like I would hit a ball off a tee for an hour.
Hmm.
And Sifu Bastillo came up to me afterwards. He goes, "You know what you just did there?" I said, "What's that?" He goes, "You did the same kick." I, like, yeah, like this is, I'm thinking this is the normal thing to do. And he said, "You keep doing that and you'll be very good at this someday." Like, oh, huh. Okay, that's what I'm gonna do.
Nice.
Yeah, so it was just getting in as many repetitions as possible. And yeah, I'm still working on it though.
That's good. Well, good. Me too.
Yeah, that's the way. All we have to
Always
do
be a
is
work in progress.
look at Guru Dan. He is the role model. My
Yeah.
gosh. Um, hey, I will talking about that last story. It was interesting that one day on a weekend, now this is maybe 1990 or so, right around there. I was at the Inosanto Academy, Marina Del Rey, the first one that was in Marina Del Rey, so a small, very small warehouse.
Oh yeah, just
And
across let's see, what is it,
yeah,
Glencoe from where we're at now. Yeah.
yes, exactly. And so I would go in on the weekends because I was doing some teaching. And so I had a key. I could go on the weekends and I'd work out on the heavy bag myself there. And so I'm there on a Saturday or a Sunday, whatever it is. And to my surprise and delight, who comes walking in? Guru Dan, right? Because he didn't have a seminar that weekend. And so, we talk just a touch. And then he goes over and he gets on the heavy bag and he goes in a right lead and he does a G-Tech to the tie bag. So he pushes the tie bag, did a swinging, he does a G-Tech. I mean, just so beautiful, the form, like impeccable, of course, but still so remarkable, his form and how solid. He just stopped that big heavy tie bag, right? And so I was hitting the bag a few down, and I was moving the six and all this. And then guess what? He did the right G-Tech for 1 hour. That's what
Oh,
he did.
wow.
For 1 hour, he just did the G-Tech over and over and over and over. And that really made me go back and think about that idea of, oh, wait, because at that time I'd gotten away from it a little bit. I was training in a lot of different things, but the idea of honing one tool to the sharpest edge possible, like, wow, that really got me back in I would say, the correct mindset that day.
Yeah, yeah, I believe that because I've been a witness to him training many times in different things. And I think you bring up a really interesting point there with the discussions that get tossed around in a lot of places. There's a difference between how he teaches and how he trains. And I'm not saying that there's a dishonesty of it. It's just that he trains us like, here's a bunch of stuff. I'm giving you information. Now you go work on it. Now, when I go work on things, I'm picking the thing I want to really develop, and he'll do reps and stuff on it.
And that is, I wish people understood that better, is that, I mean, you just said it perfectly, right? He doesn't know what our particular interests or proclivities are going to be. We
Right.
all gravitate toward different things. You look at, an easy example is grappling or jujitsu. You have all
Mm-hmm.
these techniques. So let's take judo. Okay, there are a certain number of throws in judo. If you look at champions, they usually have about three throws that they do. One they
Right.
do more than anything, and then they have that backup or the setup. They have about three that they do pretty commonly. But the champions don't all do the same three throws.
Right.
And so it's like, well, what is going to resonate with you and your body type and your mentality? And so Guru Dan is, I mean, obviously such the wealth of knowledge. Like, here, you have all of this to choose from, and you take what you like. And some of it you're not going to understand right now. At least, okay, I'm going to speak for myself. Some of
Mm-hmm.
it he would teach and I would learn it and all, but I didn't understand it. Years later, I'm like, oh, now I understand where I can use that.
Right.
Years later. And so, um, that's the thing. But when he's going to train for himself, now he's training for himself and he's going to do something. And again, he's going to hone that knife edge. Yeah, I think I think maybe more than anybody has been able to see Guru Dan train with different people because you go with him and you accompany him,
Right.
which is awesome. But just in the training I've gotten to do privately with him when he's training with somebody else and all that, I mean, just the humility, right?
Oh, God, yeah.
I mean, he, for those that haven't heard this sort of thing or aren't familiar with it, one time Guru Dan asked me, because again, he wasn't going away on the weekend. He says, hey, there's a Filipino martial arts seminar in Orange County this weekend. Would you like to go with me and be my partner? Oh, no, I don't
Yeah,
want to do
exactly.
that.
What?
No way. So
It's like the answer there is like you're calling your previous plan. Sorry, I can't make it to the funeral this weekend. I'm
yeah,
going.
right. Sorry, I was supposed to get married on Saturday. Not going to happen.
Yeah, we got to postpone that. Exactly.
Oh gosh. So we go out there and the instructor from the Philippines, very, very good Filipino martial artist, but he's teaching a group of people and they don't yeah. Anyway, he starts teaching the snake disarm. So he shows the snake disarm, right? Which Guru Dan has seen from what, 30, 40 different masters.
Yeah.
He's studied this so in depth. He is so good at it, et cetera, et cetera. As the instructor's coming around, Guru Dan says humbly, but honestly says,
hmm
oh, Manong, like this. And he starts to do the disarm and he does it slowly and just like this. And the guy says, oh, wait, one more time. He goes, oh, like this. And he does it very slowly. And then the instructor shows him a little thing. Oh, you might want to, like put this thing here or do this like this. So he probably didn't, but he may have gotten one more detail because of the humility. Instead of going,
Right.
I got the snake disarm. That's how has more details than anybody else.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. He said that to me one day. We were driving back, and because I, listening to him, the questions he asked people and stuff. And well, the first thing he complimented me on, he said, "You're going to do well," because he said, "You've already learned the lesson my father told me, which is just to shut your mouth and take the lesson." I'm like, okay.
Yes.
He said, "You're going to be fine there. You're not trying to tell them what you already know." I'm like, "No, I already trusted if you brought me to somebody they're worth, listening to. So I do." And then the other was, he said, he goes, "I know, I have answers to these questions I'm asking them." He goes, "I'm interested in what their answer is, not what the answer I already have is." So that's right from his mouth, how he describes it. And I'm like, that makes a lot of sense. He goes, if you are like that, you'll get taught much more. Where if you're trying to show off your thing, he said, they will withdraw and they won't teach you much of anything.
That's what he told me, was if you show that you're too good, then they're just not going to show you anything. And the point of going to train with somebody is not to show them how good you are. It is to try to make yourself better. And so
Right.
if you go in humbly, you can make yourself better. When I first started training with Pendekar Paul Dutours, Pendekar Paul didn't have a lot of teaching experience at that time. He taught a few people, taught Guru Dan extensively, but Guru Dan said, he is a gold mine. He is such a wealth of knowledge, but you're going to have to ask the questions to bring it out.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And he said, you need to ask the right questions to bring out his knowledge. And I think, wow, yeah, that really helped me with a lot of people I trained with afterwards. Because Guru Dan's so organized, and he has so much to show and to share that we don't have to worry about.
And this concludes the abbreviated version of the podcast. Please consider supporting the program by going to www.patreon.com/MALMAG and subscribing to the show. You can also purchase this individual episode or any individual episode at our Gumroad page. That's malmag.gumroad.com. Thank you for listening to this episode with Burton Richardson. Coming up next week, I connect to Pennsylvania and I talk to David McDonald. Our Malmag online store at martialartslifestylemagazine.com has a full selection of Timmy B's brand sticks for FMA and Krabiker Bong. Timmy B's brand now selling in Japan as well. Beautiful Timmy B's brand shirts and Dos Manos shirts are available. We also have sarongs, malongs, and wooden training knives. An online course in the Dos Manos method for FMA is available under the Courses tab. More courses coming soon. Check out the Places to Train tab to find schools near you, and click on the events calendar page to see what seminars and events are happening all around the world. And of course, visit our main page for articles on the martial arts. Music by Arthur J. Martial Arts Lifestyle Magazine and the Martial Arts Lifestyle Podcast are trademarked and copyrighted by TNT LLC.